right, all right. What is up, YouTube Boxing family? It is IK right here. I'm back at it with another good video for you guys today. Um, yeah, let's get right into it, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat or people that will watch the stream in the replay. And yeah, let's get right into it, man. Shout out to the Queen, the undisputed Queen, Miss Amanda, the real deal, Holyfield 2.0, Serrano. Amazing performance. Good job. I had a lot of fun watching that fight. But yeah, let's get right into the Friday night's fights card. And also yeah, let me give like a shout out to Michael Fox's brother, Alantis Fox. He had a really tough decision loss to Eric Bazinian. Um, I thought he could have won that fight, but Eric definitely edged it out. He was just like a more hungrier fighter, and yeah, man, it was a really you know tough, hard fought fight, and hopefully, Alonso he can return back with more victories in the future. I think he's very game at the super middleweight division, if I'm not mistaken. He's a good fighter. It's just that there's just certain points in his career where I think now he's starting to enter into like the final days of his best years in him. So obviously he got stopped by David Morrell. So in his last fight. So obviously that's not like the best performance out of him. But I think Alantis he'll be fine. The thing about him is just that I think it's just due to him going through so many wars because he went at it with Demetrius Andrade. He went at it with David Morrell. He went at it with a lot of good fighters in his division at the middleweight division and and up. So I don't know what's gonna happen for him, but I hope he can return and get more victories and achieve his goal to become world champion. I think he can make a really big impact of doing what he wants to do to achieve greatness, and I think it's a really high strong possibility. The only issue is just getting the right opponents that he should really get winnable fights with. Which I think he could very well beat a lot of guys at 168. I think him and Berlanga is a good style matchup. I think that's a winnable fight for him. But I say if anything, if he's trying to get back in there, I wouldn't mind a fight with maybe I don't even know, maybe go after a fight with you know, I don't know. Because like I'm not gonna say any up and coming rookie because I think that's not a good look. But if we want like a veteran, I mean, fight Danny Jacobs. I mean, I don't think Danny Jacobs is fighting anymore, so I'll take him out of the picture. Uh, I don't know, man. I mean, he has plenty of options, but it's not like 168 is like popping. So I think 168, he could very well like go after like a Jaime Munguia. I don't see why he can't do that. But either way, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, what happens because I think the thing about him is just that, he's just been through a lot in his career where you can't really say he's just like, he's a bad fighter and he can't do this and he can't do that. Nah, like he's a really, really good fighter. But I think he's in that Sean Porter situation where you have to understand that not every fighter wants to be a Sean Porter. And what I mean by that is that when you get into the sport like boxing, people think losses are like people think of losses as religious monikers to think that when you lose it's over, like your career's done, everybody needs to shame you, and they use it as like a sin to say that you're a bad fighter, aka you're a bad person because you sinned. So they do the same thing in any form of losing, to shame somebody, to say, oh well, you didn't win, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. But it's like, you understand like losing is a part of life, but in the sport of boxing, you're gonna lose potentially. But if you win, okay, good. You win, but your undefeated record's not going to be, the absolute same. So, that the problem is just simply like people trying to hyperventilate on this whole idea to think that losses mean that you suck if you lose to this really really good fighter, which not everybody thinks that fighter could be like the goods. But when fighters get hyped up and they have all these like rivalrous matchups where this hyped up fighter beats a really good fighter, but this fighter actually made it look like that he or she won the fight, but like the stupid, dumb, casual ass fans in boxing will say, "Oh no, well that's not true," because this hyped up fighter got the decision. When we all know that that decision is not the right decision, and that fighter's not that good as what people make him out to be. It's true because styles make fights, and whoever style wins in boxing, should be respected. But in regards to Alontis Fox, like, oh wait, hold on. Give me one second. Look, I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Yeah, like I thought I was going to, but it's not that big of a deal. But yeah. I mean, like the whole thing is just that when you look at how the sport is being prioritized, people look at hyped up fighters as like the next big thing, or hopeless fighters. That's what I should say, and they do whatever they want to, say what they need to say. Hold on, give me one second. Mm, all right, I'm back. So yeah, back to what I was saying with like, the whole deal with with the hyped up fighters or the hopeless fighters beating, coincidentalist fighters. Not everybody wants to be that Sean Porter of boxing where you fight everybody and people look at you a certain type of way to say, oh well, um, you're not that good, blah blah blah, and that's going to be like the end all be all. But yeah, I mean either way, um, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I don't know. I think honestly, when it comes down to it, man, there's going to be a lot of speculation to see what happens at super middleweight, and I think Alontis Fox he can be successful. But I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with his career. But yeah, I mean, super middleweight's pretty lit, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But either way, I think you know that was a good fight for Eric, but I think Eric he definitely has a lot of flaws, and he showed it, on fight night. So I don't know, but on to the next one. Yeah, let's talk about Navarrete versus Wilson card. We had some really really good fights. Huge big shout out to Luis Melendez. Unfortunately, he lost to Andres Cortez in their matchup, which I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, let's talk about the card. I'm going to speed around this because I have things to do. Um, we have Emiliano Vargas versus Francisco Duque. That was a good ass fight. Very good fight for Emiliano. I thought Duque was not that good of a fighter, but he's a pretty decent fighter. Has a lot of good power in his shots, but he obviously was very limited. He wasn't able to do what he was supposed to do. But yeah, Vargas, he came to fight. He did what he had to do. Great victory. He managed to score a 4-round decision. So he did hurt Duque several times. Duque actually hurt Vargas multiple times, well, in little spurts. But I think Vargas, he's going to scale pretty well. The only thing I have against him is just simply due to consistency with his boxing ability. That's all. He needs to stop like trying to look flashy. Just go in, do your job, and just leave. but I think he's going to be a lot better than his father. But I'm like slowly clinging onto him. So hopefully we get to see what happens and see what goes on. Richard Torres versus James Bryant. That was a good fight. Richie knocked him. Well, he didn't knock him out, but he damn near knocked him out in the first round. But yeah, James Bryant. He got blasted. He quit in the second round, so I wasn't really expecting him to really do anything in this fight. He wasn't really coming with a big winning attitude. I mean, granted, he's 37 years old. Father Time is undefeated, so I don't know what would really be, the right choice for him. But I think Richard Torres, he just, he was spoon fed, another easy victory. I might be rude for saying that, but it's just true. Like you're 6'2", you're 23 years old, about to be 24. Which I mean, it's good that he's staying active, and I think that's the plan for Top Rank. But I don't think this is the right move to just go ahead and just beat up on lesser opposition, because the only opponent that we could really ever say is a certified is Ahmed Hefney, who went a split decision with Dakari Scott for the WBA NABF title, or NABA or NABO title, some stupid little regional title that the WBA has. But either way, it's decent. It's not like he didn't really do anything to really, make the fight like any different with Dakari. But I think like Hefney, like he's a decent fighter. Like he has skills, and it was a good fight with Richard Torres, and that's a good certified victory I'll give. But he's not like Hefney's like he's not on anybody's radar, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that's a good victory. I mean, it's decent, but the rest of Torres's opponents, I don't like. I don't certify that. I think if anything, him and Dakari Scott should really fight each other. That just makes up the perfect sense to just move Richard Torres to that right direction. I want him in a fight with James Evans. I don't see why you can't stop him, but I think James Evans can definitely stop Richard Torres. Um, I mean, other fighters in this division, if we're talking like American heavyweights, I mean, there's really not many. I mean, there's Dante Stone. He's a pretty decent guy, but I mean, shit, go after him. I mean, he's a monster. He's 11-1, but yeah, I mean, like Richard Torres, he's game for the heavyweight division, but it's it's gonna be concurrent to see him get knocked out if he makes the early game mistakes that we see now in his career. But I think when we're looking at heavyweights that are known, like heavyweights that we do know that are coming up, like I think Lorenzo Medina would easily take down Richard Torres, or Kingsley eBay, the Nigerian dude, or Norman Neely. Like I mean, like those guys, like I can easily see on the radar, handing Richard Torres his very first ever loss. So like I just don't think anything else is going to be better. So I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, it's probably going to be clear as day to see, where things are going to go. But I don't think Torres is really all that good, not yet. But yeah, we'll find out. I think Torres, he's obviously being given the Top Rank promotional diet, where they're just giving him easy fights, and he's not going through like the motion of going through like a real war. And I think that's his problem. He's comfortable. And like I always say about comfortable fighters don't make successful fighters. And uncomfortable fighters make great fighters. I'll definitely, make a video about that, because that's a very interesting topic that's come to my mind. Yeah, let's move forward with the next fight. We have Mr. Who else was on the card? Yes, we have Mr. Landolfo Delgado defeating Clarence Booth. Yeah, this is an amazing fight. Landolfo Delgado is a monster. I think this is a really, really good victory for him, simply because Clarence Booth, he's an absolute, tank, when it comes to his style. He knows how to fight. He knows how to position those shots well, and he's just an absolute threat. But I think with this test, that test made him better. And I think Delgado, he's going to be game at 140, and he could very well capture a title. I think so. I think he did what he had to do, and everything was very, very successful, and it was on point. Um, yeah, let's talk about the next fight. We had Mr. Nico Ali Walsh versus Eduardo Ayala. This fight, I was very shocked that it actually went the distance. I thought Eduardo was going to do more to actually give Nico a tough battle, but he's not in his prime. He's definitely fading. But I found it surprising that I saw he's 30 years old. So I mean, he's still semi fresh, but this is boxing. Anything could happen, in your career. But Ayala, he's been stopped twice, two times. That was back at 160, and ever since then he hasn't really fought anybody like super duper good. But with Nico, this is an opponent where he knew he was going to be game, but Nico, like I always said, like he's decent, but when his time comes where he finds a guy that's going to be right there, giving him, wars and bombs, I think that'll be the end of Nico because I don't think Nico's going to, survive, when the competition pool gets a lot sharper. And then eventually, he's going to be put in a much more destructive position. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see what he does because there's a lot of tough guys here at 160. You got Thomas, Lamana. You got Elijah, Garcia. He's an absolute monster. He's that Mexican guy that I keep talking about. Raul Lazarga. He's 21 years old. Yep, I've heard about him. He blasted his 10 opponents. Obviously, they're not good. Oh, he actually, yeah, I remember him. Yeah, Raul Lazarga, he knocked out Ty Edmonds. That was the previous opponent for Lorenzo Chuck Simpson, in which I think, yeah, yeah, I think Lorenzo Simpson washes Nico. But that fight, if it ever gets me, that would be a really destructive battle. Shit, maybe even Quantavious Cash can beat him. I mean, there's a lot of good competition that's on the come up at 160, but I'm not sold on Nico yet. I think he's still super duper limited, and I don't know why he's doing boxing. Like I think if anything, he's only doing it just to take advantage of what is there. Obviously using Muhammad Ali's name, but it's not like he's doing anything super duper spectacular for the sport. But you know what? We'll find out. We'll find out. I think 160 is gonna go back to being the glamour division because it is a glamour division, but it's just like 160 is gonna be absolutely stacked. With all the new up and coming guys, and it's gonna be crazy. We got Austin Williams in the division, Hamza Shiraz. We have Elijah Garcia. We got Almikar Vidal. We still have like Emmanuel Ali. Like I mean, yeah, 160 is just loaded, and there's like a lot of up and coming names that people don't know yet. So yeah, good victory for Nico, but I think his time will come, when he meets a really deadly opponent. So, he just needs to keep working hard and just keep doing what he has to do. Moving forward, Andres Cortez versus Luis Chucho Melendez. This fight was a very nip and tuck fight, but Andres Cortez just won simply based off of consistency with his punches. And I think the thing with him is that he's the type of fighter where he's good to show his punches, but I think defensively he gets blasted. Um, I'm only saying that because Luis he started hurting him with like a lot of destructive shots, but it's not like he's showing me anything different in his career. I think with Cortez, he's only good for what he can show, but as far as like the other gears that he has, I don't think he's really that versatile of a fighter. This was his very first 10 rounder, so I mean, we already know what he's trying to do. He's trying to get a world title shot, and I think he's ready for one. But I think at the very top of the division, I can see a lot of guys blasting him out. Um, I think Henry Moncho LeBron can definitely clip him. He's going to fight Abraham Nova, and I think Abraham Nova can very well give Cortez a absolute battle. Uh, I mean, even William Foster the third, like he's a monster. You got Lamont Roach Jr. or Lamont Roach, absolute killer. I think the perfect fight for Cortez is Robson Conceição. I think he can easily get up there in the world title position. I mean, it's not like Top Rank, like I don't think Top Rank like is going to try to limit his ability of who he wants to fight. I think if Cortez, if he wants all the smoke, he's gonna leave Top Rank if Top Rank's not willing to work with other promotional stables to give him what he wants. But I think with the business being right, I think what's going to happen is that he's probably going to go the WBO route because the WBO route is the easy route to get the belt. So I think with Cortez, he's probably just going to go that route just to get his belt, and then he's just going to dip out. I think that's what's going to happen. But I'm just hoping like it's like like a Cortez, like he doesn't try to act like a duck. Like he actually says that he wants to fight everybody, and he just fights all the names. Because I think he can beat a lot of guys on here at 130. I think winnable fights for him would be maybe Thomas Mattis. You could be Roger Gutierrez, maybe. Gutierrez, he can hit, and I think Gutierrez can easily stop him. Albert Bell, I don't know about that. He can't punch, but Albert Bell he's a bona fide pure boxer, so I just don't see that to be winnable. And even with Rene Alvarado, like I think Alvarado can easily stop him. But it's like Cortez, he's so like he's very hittable. Like he's not showing anything different at 130. But with Luis Melendez, I think the problem of what Melendez didn't do was just simply being active and also hurting Cortez to the body. Because I think what he should have done was that not allow Cortez to tee off on him and start working that body early game. And then you could do like what you're good at doing by throwing that uppercut, that sneaking uppercut, and then you start working him, with like the massive combinations. Because that's what, Luis is really good at doing. He's very good at setting up combinations where he sees counters, and he's really good at pressuring somebody down when he sees the opportunity to win. So I think with this fight, it was simply due to the mental pressure of Cortez. Like, I don't think Cortez did anything good to win, but it's not like, we're going to certify him off of beating Luis Melendez to say that, oh, okay, well, Melendez, he's not good anymore because he lost to Zerdito and Cortez. But it's like for Cortez's, resume, like he got dropped by Alejandro Salinas, and Salinas was piecing him up like the whole 6 rounds or 8 rounds. That fight was a 8 rounder, but he almost damn near lost that fight. One judge had him winning by 1 point, 76-75, and the other 2 judges only had him winning by 3 points and 6 points. Yeah, so either way, he was only up by like 1 or 2 rounds plus. But Alejandro Salinas, if you go look at that fight between him and Alejandro Salinas, that fight was insanely good for Alejandro Salinas. And Salinas, he can hit. Like, he's an absolute monster, but I just don't know what's been up with his career. Like, he's been inactive, and I don't know what's going on with him. I'm pretty sure he probably just said, yeah, like, I'm done with boxing, because it's like, nobody's probably helping him out with his career, probably management wise, but we'll never know. And I'm hoping things are good with him. But yeah, Alejandro Salinas, if he was still boxing right now in the super featherweight division, and he had his opportunity to fight Andres Cortez. I think in a rematch, Cortez would definitely stop. Um, Cortez definitely would have been stopped by Alejandro Salinas. But I think with Melendez, the thing with him is just that he just didn't implement his activity enough, in the clinch. Because with Cortez, like he's not that big of a fighter when it comes to pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't have the size advantage in a fight. And I mean, he's a pretty solid fighter. But the thing about him is that, he's been fighting opposition that's been coming in front of him, and he's not facing like the best of the best. The only good names out of his entire career is Luis Melendez and definitely Alejandro Salinas, and then everyone else is really nobody. Like Abraham Montoya, that's a good fighter, but Montoya, he's not known to be a good boxer, and he doesn't have any good um he doesn't have good ring IQ. That's his problem. With Melendez, I was thinking he was going to use his ring IQ a lot more in this fight because obviously the Zerdito loss, um, that fight was a lot more closer, and he was piecing up Eduardo a lot, and Eduardo, he was getting destroyed off of Melendez's jabs and uppercuts. But I think heading into his next fight for Melendez, we're gonna start seeing him progress a lot more because he's not a finished product. He's still getting better because he's converting over to the states. So obviously the competition pool was like a lot more difficult compared to his fights that he had over in Colombia. But it's not like he's not like it's not like he's choosing to fight marginal opposition. It's just that he's trying to find whatever fight he can get, and he's going with it. So I think either way, he's in a good position. I think Chucho, despite the loss, it's like he's very fresh in his career. He's 24 years old, and he has a lot of miles to go in his career. So I don't think Luis Melendez is really out of the water because if he was out of the water, he should have been had more losses earlier in his career. But it's not like that because it's like Melendez, he's not he's not afraid to take on good challenges. So I think either way, um, I think it's a blessing in disguise, for what people try to say for fighters that do lose. Losses are successful, learning lessons if you turn that loss into a positive rather, than a negative. And I think, despite knowing that, despite knowing, the corrupt politics in boxing holding fighters back, you know, fighters need to get away from the Floyd Mayweather mentality to think that everything's all about a win, but it's more about how well you perform. And I think, obviously, with his performance with Cortez, it wasn't the best, but he still made a really good account of himself to make the fight competitive. But I think with this fight, he's gonna come back a lot sharper, and I think he's gonna rack up a lot more victories with the experience that he gained from the Eduardo Ramirez and Andres Cortez fights that develops his skill set to become a lot more polished in the ring. And I mean, he's only getting better, and I think that's the good thing about. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the good thing about it because if Luis Melendez, if he chose to fight weaker opposition leading up to a big fight, then that wouldn't be good for his career. So he wouldn't have the necessary tools needed to have himself be up there to be notable, in his division that he's campaigning at. So I think heading forward, the best opponents for him, I wouldn't mind Robson Conceição, Muhammad Yakubov. He could fight him. He could fight, like a Yoshimitsu. Kimura, go after anybody in the top 25 or top 50. Shit, I wouldn't mind like a Toka Khan Clary fight. That's a great fight. He could very well defeat him. I mean, he's not doing anything, super duper spectacular, but yeah, he could beat him. And I mean, there's plenty of opposition for Melendez to rise back up to the occasion, and he could do what he's known to do, which is to keep getting better and keep developing as a fighter to become a bigger threat. And I think he will become a bigger threat at 130. It's just that although he did not get his decisions that he wants to have to be successful to advance his career, in which we would probably be seeing him 19-1 or 19-2. Well, yeah, he probably, if he didn't lose to Cortez and Ramirez, I think his opportunities would have been um, a lot more faster. But obviously, his competition pool of skill set would be a lot more harder to obtain because, for him, if he beat Eduardo Ramirez, obviously Eduardo, he went from that fight to the Pitbull Cruz fight. I'm not saying like theoretically he would fight Isaac Pitbull Cruz, but I think with Eduardo and Luis Melendez's potential for a world title opportunity, I think Luis Melendez, if he had won these fights, it still scales him to be more of a tougher matchup at the at the higher level. But on top of that, you would have to think about what would have happened with the tougher opposition if he were to lose to like a guy like, Oshaki Foster or even Ray Vargas that's coming up in weight because, from what he told me, if he had won that fight, he would have fought Oshaki Foster for the WBC title, eliminator. So either way, I think Chucho, he's fine. I think he's going to do very, very well, when he gets his opportunity for a world title. But I don't think he's out of the woods, man. I think if anything, he's getting more dangerous. He's getting better, and not a lot of people are going to talk about him until he starts upsetting a lot of fighters that people think that would just walk right over him. And he's no pushover. He's a very dangerous test for a lot of guys, and I think he's going to get better, and he's going to dominate a lot of fighters. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Let's move forward with the next fight. We have Mr. Um, Jose Pedraza versus Honor Barbosa Jr. This fight was fun to watch. I thought Jose Pedraza got dominated real bad, and Barbosa, he did his thing. It's time for Barbosa to fight the upper echelon, opponents. But I think the best opponent for him would be Teofimo Lopez. I don't see why Teofimo cannot take that fight. I mean, I don't see why he thinks Barbosa is trash. If he's trash, then you should just walk right over him. But that's not true because Barbosa, he's a live dog for the division. And I think Barbosa, he could beat some upper echelon, opponents at 140. But until then, we have to see Barbosa in there, and I think he will get the job done. But it's not going to be easy. Barbosa, he's a very tough task for anybody. But I think, despite him not having punching power, that's going to be his downfall. Because if he's not able to gain the respect of an opponent like a Subriel Matias or Gary Antoine Russell, like anybody that's not afraid to actually take risks to hurt you, like that's really going to be like the bigger game changer. Because he could box beautifully all 12 rounds, but that's not going to be enough to gain the respect of a big dog fighter that is that is coming in for the mega millions to be great. And I think that's going to be the bigger problem. But I think Barbosa, he's going to make a good load of money fights, at 140. I think 140, with Josh Taylor, being taken out of the picture, eventually, him, Regis Prograis, Subriel Matias, and Gary Antoine Russell will be the kings of that division if everything plays out correctly. So I think Barbosa, he will give it his hardest shot until it's time for him to hang it up. So yeah, keep on winning, and I think Barbosa is gonna look really, really sharp at the world title level. All right, Emmanuel Navarrete versus Wilson. Um, I thought this fight was a little bit rigged. Navarrete had a very, very long count at the fourth round, being knocked down by Wilson, which Wilson, failure on his end, he did not decide to press on the gas on Navarrete to stop him. And I think that was really dumb of him to do that because Navarrete is a absolute killer when it comes to his pressure and his ability to change up a tempo to become successful. But I think what happened was that the referee gave Navarrete a lot of time for him to get back up. And I think it was smart for Navarrete to do that because, let's just say if you got knocked down, but then you spit, like your mouthpiece got taken off out of, the knockdown. That's a smart thing to do because you'll do that to make yourself successful. So you can grab like a breather for you to fight. But I think either way, that doesn't make like a difference at all because but the whole double standard is that when Tyson Fury when he got away with having a long count and the Wilder won and led by the first and third fight, Tyson Fury he didn't get penalized for basically having long counts. And on top of that, he should have lost in both the first and third fight, or more so the first fight should have ended everything. Wilder should have been given the victory in the first fight, and even regardless of what the second fight or third fight, Wilder should have ended the whole chapter with the first fight. But it's not like Wilder is lesser of a fighter to lose to Fury. Tyson Fury knows that Deontay Wilder is better than him by, exposing Tyson Fury's inability to handle Wilder's shots. But yet it takes a corrupt, form of cheating in the boxing establishment to go against Deontay Wilder's, wishes to become undisputed or to become, a successful fighter in the heavyweight division. So either way, Tyson Fury, he shows that he's not a good fighter, and he has to have the political machine backing him in order for him to get, gifted, cheating, outcomes. So, for him to get by. With this situation with Navarrete, it's kind of similar on that end. Navarrete is the quote unquote, poster boy, product for Top Rank. So it's like, why would Top Rank want to lose their opportunity with having their hyped up fighter to become a 3 division, world champion? And I think this is a must needed win for Navarrete because of the last couple opponents. Like, it's not like Navarrete's resume is bad. Like he has a stacked resume, but it's like a B level resume. Like it's not an S level resume where you see him in there with Gary Russell or let's just say like a Josh Warrington or Mauricio Lara. Like, I mean, Navarrete, he can do that. It's not like nothing's stopping him. But I think at this point of his career, if he's planning on staying at 130 or if he's going to go down to 126, either way, I would like to see Emmanuel Navarrete become undisputed. I think Navarrete has the ability to do that, but it's going to be very difficult for him to, manage his focus and be successful. He needs to have a good, like a really, really good strength and conditioning coach. I think he needs a lot more conditioning with his weight cutting, and he needs a better, he needs a good nutritionist. Like he needs somebody to give him all the right food for him to be successful come fight day, and he doesn't get caught with all these crazy shots for him to be vulnerable to be knocked out. So either way, that's pretty much what I have to say about that. Congratulations to Navarrete, good victory. Let's move forward with the final card with Amanda Serrano and Erica Cruz. I'm gonna speed run this and then I'll be out of here. Yankel Rivera versus Fernando Diaz, good fight. Yankel Rivera, pretty good, solid southpaw. He has okay abilities. He definitely knows how to throw his shots. Very, very, very effectively. And I think I think he'll be a good future for the flyweight division. He's okay. He's not really showing me anything different off of his skill set. But Fernando Diaz definitely came to fight, and I think he's going to be a monster in his division. I don't see the flyweight division becoming hard enough for you to get a title because not really everybody fights each other consistently in this division. And this, like, all those sperm weight divisions need to be consolidated anyway. They should no longer exist. Like, these guys should really be fighting at bantamweight. There's no reason to see the flyweight, minimum weight, and atom weight and weirdo weight, weight classes. Like all these, little people divisions need to go away, and they got to move on up to the bantamweight division, or at least like at least featherweight. Like if you want to come in at 105, fine, but if you're gonna try to say, oh, I can't be this big, then dude, just get out of boxing. You need to get beat up and taken out of the sport because you're not going to do anything better to advance your career. So if you don't want to become like the greatest by fighting guys that may be like a little bit bigger than you, then get out of boxing, please, because you're wasting the time out of the fans. Yeah. So moving forward, Shadasia Green versus Aline Sadarus. Great fight, great victory, knocked her out. Elaine Cederus, it's time to hang it up. I love her. Great fighter, but she definitely had her run, and I think it's time for her to hang it up. I think I think Mother Time has caught up to her, and her body's definitely aging. So I think it's time for her to just get out of boxing, and she can pursue other careers for the rest of her life. So I think she's a good fighter, man. But sometimes, when you start boxing late and you get knocked out, at the tail end of your career, it's not really good for you to come back. So I don't think Aline would really need to, get into boxing anymore. I think she's had a tremendous career. You became unified champion. What's there to be mad about? Or yeah, she did, right? No. Actually, yeah. Alicia Napoleon, she was the IBF and WBA that she then defeated. So yeah, I mean either way, it's good that Alicia, had those two titles that she held on to, and she did what she had to do. I mean, super middleweight's really not that big of a division, so if she wants to come back and try to recontend for another title run, by all means, go for it. But I think, as a true fan and other fans that do care about, fighter safety and health, I think it's best to see Aline, hang it up and retire from the sport. So either way, great career, and wish her nothing but the best. All right, so let's talk about the next fight. We had Miss. Who do we have? Who do we have? Who do we have? Oh yeah. Also, congratulations to Shadasia Green too. I also hope that her and Franchise Cruz get it going for the next fight. I think that's going to be a absolute fire fight. All right, next fight. Harley Medeiros. He stopped Julio Madera. Great stoppage, great victory. Um, Julio was getting beat up badly, and I didn't want to see that fight continue any longer. But Harley, he did what he had to do. Amazing victory. He did what he was supposed to do to be successful, and put himself, on the pedestal of becoming a good up and coming recognized talent. I think 135 is going to be a really, really good division for him. Now that Devin Haney, he's leaving the division soon, and I think all the other up and coming lightweights, they're going to light each other up pretty good. And I think Harley, he'll definitely make it to that pedestal if everything goes well. All right, the other fight, Aaron Aponte, he was at the first fight on the card. He fought Joshua David Rivera. Good fight. I thought he did a very, very good job by utilizing his jab more in the fight and not letting the fight turn into a firefight. I think Aponte, he's trying so hard to try to stop his opponents, but I think now he's starting to realize that he's more of a pure boxer and he doesn't need to stop everybody. But yeah, I think he's gonna be solid at 140. and 147. I think he's better at 147 because I think that's where his power will scale. But I don't think this whole weird mantra of you having power, you having not so much power leads to you not winning your big fights. And I don't think that's true. I think Aponte, he'll be fine. It's not like he needs power like to be successful. He has a great style. I think he'll make it really, really big in the high level if he's willing to put himself in better positions to be successful. So, yeah, I hope he's able to sustain, at the high level, and he's able to do what he's supposed to do. All right. So, yeah, move forward from that fight. We have Miss Rama Ali Avril Mathy. Good fight. I thought Rama did a extraordinary job. I wasn't really too surprised with Avril's performance. She gave it her best shot. She's not really like the most highly experienced female fighter out there, but she has a decent career. She started her career in 2018 in the Dominican Republic, but she doesn't really have much of a how should I say she doesn't have much of a career with boxing as far as gaining a lot of experience. So I don't think that was really anything to be surprised with. It's just that there's just certain things in female boxing where not a lot of girls are able to obtain a lot of experience, and I think she realized coming into the sport that she's not she's not super duper. How should I say? She's not super duper seasoned in the sport, and knowing that she's 35 years old, there's really not a lot of time left for her to scale. But either way, like I think she'll be fine if she's willing to continue. But the way that things will go is going to probably end up being more of a destructive battle to try to put herself in the conversation to be a contender. But I think she can definitely get there. I think she'll definitely do what she has to do. It's not like super bantamweight is a really tough division for her to like get back into the mix. I think like I think she'll be fine, but it's all progressive. Like it's all progressive, and I think eventually she'll get back up on track and she'll do what she has to do. But I'm happy that she went the distance with Ramla Ali, because Ali, she was known to be like this really heavy-handed lady, and she could do this and she could do that, but she's really not like that. She's just your typical pure boxer, semi volume puncher female fighter, and she has pretty decent, ability to switch up at the tempo with her shots. So either way, good victory for Rama. She did what she had to do, but either way, I think this is step one for her to become, a title contender to become a mandatory for either of the belts. But I think knowing that she got this IBF regional title, this title will probably become that title will probably make her a mandatory for the champion for Chernika Johnson, who's the IBF champion. So I think Chernika, she's a lovely woman. I love watching her fight. She's awesome. But I think where things are at right now, she's in a really good position right now, and I think she should definitely unify with Yamaleth Mercado. She could go after who's the other champion? Is it Juliana Basualdo? No, 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 not Juliana Basualdo. I'm thinking about who's the other female champ? Oh yeah, fight Marilyn Rivas. She could fight her, and she should fight who's the WBO? I think it's oh yeah, Sigalin Lefebvre. Yeah, this lady. Yeah, she's the French girl that has like one KO. But yeah, go after her. Superman Way will be on fire if all those ladies could really go after each other and give each other some big loaded wars. But yeah, like I'm loving the evolution of female boxing. It's not there, but like it's really not there like to be large scale, but it's like small scale to medium scale. So either way, that's pretty much it with that. Let's move forward with the other fight with Miss uh Sky Nicholson versus Tanya Alvarez. This fight, I wasn't really too surprised. I mean, Sky Nicholson, she was trying to say that she wanted an opponent that was going to give her pressure and she wanted to try to stop, her opponent, but I'm not sold on her. Not yet. I think she has a lot of work to do. Um she wasn't comfortable really dealing with the shots that Tanya was, uneducatedly foolishly throwing because what happened was that Tanya she didn't have a base in throwing her punches, and the problem was just that Sky, she was able to tag her, but then when Tanya hit her, then that's where Sky was like, okay, this girl actually got some pop. And Tanya, if she knew how to box and she knew how to fight, I think Tanya, she definitely could have gotten Sky out of there. But the problem is that when you come from a background being so young in boxing to not be like super duper educated in what you do, of course, like you're not going to do what you're supposed to be successful. But good enough that Tanya, she managed to score some rounds against her, but I think she could have fought this fight a lot easier if she knew how to use her jab and on top of that, like work the body. Like, if you can't land the punches to the head, what you do is that when you come in, you start working that body, and then you'll become a lot more destructive by landing your shots. But I don't think she needs to go for the knockout. She just needs to have that Sean Porter type style, come in, be aggressive, but also be educated with your aggression, and then she'll start scoring a lot of rounds to win. Because I think she's game for the featherweight division, because nobody's not doing anything in this division. But I think right now, just go back home, do what you got to do. I think she needs to find a better trainer, better training regimen. I would love for her to come all the way out to America to whatchamacallit, to train with the American trainers like a Derek James, or even get with Coach Nelson Rodriguez. Like I think she has a lot of skills that she can easily like sprout to become a world championship fighter, but it's up to her if she wants to go from her comfort zone in Spain to come all the way out to the States to get better. And I think eventually she's gonna probably do that, and I hope she does, because she has like a lot of raw talent that not a lot of people can notice right away. But I think when she understands what she's good at and what she's not good at to work on, I think she'll start coming over to the States to get better. But I think she's a game opponent. I just didn't like what this fight with Sky Nicholson was, that Sky, she was kind of like overlooking her to think that she wasn't going to do anything to her. And pretty much what the thing is just that, when you think about it, Sky, she's obviously thinking about, the future too fast to think that, that everything's going to be hyped into her favor. And I think the problem with her is that she's not understanding that Matchroom's just been feeding her weak competition. And like, I mean, if anything, you're not going through any adversity. I mean, Tanya Alvarez is probably one of the only, uh how should I say, she's like one of the only opponents that gave her trouble out of her entire resume. The rest of her opponents really wasn't anything other than Jessica Juarez, which Juarez, she was not, like, how should I say, she didn't look like she was coming to win. She looked like she was trying to give it her best shot. But this is my problem with female boxing when it comes to hyping up fighters. Like you women need to stop doing that. Like, you women need to stop getting behind a promoter and trying to say that, you're going to do this and that, but then it's like when you can't do it and you get exposed, then that's really what happens. And I think with Tanya, like, if she was more educated in her division or in her skill set, this fight definitely would have been a lot different. And I think Sky, she definitely would have been in trouble. But I think all the other women in this division can potentially be Sky Nicholson. It's not like I hate Sky. It's just that I truly believe deep down that she's very vulnerable to getting hit a lot easy by lesser opposition. And I think if you turn up the competition a lot higher, like against a Lucy Wildheart or a Tiara Brown, or anybody that knows how to hit, but they know how to box just as well as her and break her down. I just think she can easily be broken down to the point where she doesn't have the ability to make those adjustments while she's hurt, and I think that's what's going to happen in her career. When she faces a true educated boxer puncher, and I think what the perfect opponent that could easily blast her out right now would be a Mia Ellis. I think Mia Ellis at 130 can easily take her down, and that fight would not be a real fight. It like if anything, that fight would be a very bad runaway fight, and I think Mia, she'll do what she has to do to be successful, and she's not going to let anybody take her down. And I think even that Puerto Rican female girl, Nicole Ocasio, I think she fights at 126. But yeah, that's a really good opponent. I mean, there's other good opponents on here that could easily take on the challenge to potentially be Sky. You have Chantel Martinez. Yeah, she's a decent fighter, but she's okay. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of girls from 122 or 130 or even up and coming girls at 126 that can easily come in and beat her. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how her career is going to play out, because I think she's going to she's going to start taking losses as she starts getting more seasoned in her career, like especially like women like Sophie Alish, or any of these girls that are not afraid to actually take risk. But yeah, we'll find out. All right, so moving forward from that fight, we had Miss whatchamacallit, or Mr. Richardson Hitchens. Yeah, we had Hitchens versus Bauza. Good fight. I thought Bauza got dominated, and Hitchens, he beat him down. Richardson Hitchens, he's a monster. I don't know why people think Hitchens is a bad fighter. I don't think he is. I think he's an insanely destructive, polished, pure boxer. And the only thing that people say that he's weak with is him boxing off of his back foot. But I don't think that's really the case. I think Hitchens, he knows how to box off of his back foot, but it's just like when you give him pressure, that's going to be like the hard part to tell if he could do that while he's under deep waters and he's under trouble. But I think Hitchens, he's going to do a pretty solid job at the high level, and I don't see that many people taking him down at 140. But yeah, 140 is a pretty interesting division. But like people will say like Montana Love could stop him. I don't think so. I think Love is trash, and he obviously got blasted by Steve Spark. Shout out to Steve Spark, but I think Steve Spark, he showed like a lot more kinks in his armor to shred right through him. So I think we'll find out, to see what happens. But either way, like I mean, I don't know what's going on with Montana's current situation, but it's not like he's doing anything different. So I don't think Love is really going to be doing anything different at this level. He's 28 years old versus with Hitchens. He's 25. He'll be 26 in September. But I mean, Hitchens, he has a lot of time like ahead of him, and I think he's going to be dominating 140 pretty soon. So we'll find out to see who's going to be the king. At 140. Obviously, Devin Haney, he's in the division, so 140 is loaded, man. There's a lot of destructive guys in this division, and that's why that I keep saying that there needs to be tournaments in boxing, and that will elevate people a lot higher to the world title level. So either way, that's a pretty good performance by Hitchens. I'm very happy for him. he did what he had to do, and I think he'll be fine, man. I think he could whip Ryan Garcia. He could whip Puelo. Andy Hirioka, that's a tough fight. I think Hirioka could definitely stop him. But Hirioka, he's a monster. He's an absolute killer. But it's going to be interesting to see what he does. Obviously, he's going through the WBO. Just having that Asia Pacific super lightweight title. So yeah, hopefully we get to see him. Out here in America. I know he only fought in America like a couple times against Ricky Edwards and Rogelio Cesares, but yeah, he should definitely come on over to the States and get his skills up here because I think he could easily take down a lot of guys at at 140. Um, yeah, so I think Hitchens he'll be fine, man. Uh, Probably him and Montana Love will probably be like the next fight if C Spark doesn't want to take on the challenge. But I think if that can't happen, get Brandon Lee up in there. I think Hitchens and Lee would be a very destructive matchup, and I think that'll be a lightning quick fight. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hitchens, I think he's let the goods in the division, and I think it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. So, all right, moving forward, Alicia Baumgartner defeats Elham McCallum. This is a fun fight to watch. I had like a lot of fun watching this fight. Baumgartner destroyed her, gave her a very tough battle. She came in, with like a solid Errol Spence type, performance. Had a lot of defensive flaws. I don't know what's going on with her, but to me, it kind of looks like she gets hit so easily more because she's not moving her head. She's just coming in with her hands down, and I don't like that out of her. She really needs to fix that up. I would really love for her to start moving her head more and start coming in with like a good you know, like a good defensive, mover pressure style fighting style. She definitely did what she had to do, and she knocked down McCallum arguably three times in the fight. She knocked her down twice in round three, and then the other round in like round 8 or round 9, she should have got like a knockdown. But obviously, like to me, like if she was fighting 3-minute fights, she would definitely have more knockouts on her record because it's not like she's going for the knockout, but she can easily crack and she can easily take down a lot of the girls that quote unquote say that, oh well, she wouldn't do anything against me. Like no, like she can easily take everybody down. And yeah, I think even with all these up and coming girls like Beatrice Ferreira and all these other women, like I don't see why Baumgartner is being like put down as if like she's not that good. Like no, she is good and she's a live dog. So either give her credibility or just stop talking. But either way, she just needs to work on the defense. That's all. Her defense is decent, but she like I see her get hit without the same punch, and I don't know why Tony Harrison doesn't tell her to move your head and start using your two jab to counter when someone tries to use their number one jab to try to, you know, offset you, in a trade. But either way, she did her thing. She's undisputed. Hooray! So hopefully, if she can't get the Katie Taylor fight before Amanda Serrano, well, obviously Amanda Serrano and Katie, they're gonna fight May 20th. But I think for the meantime, she should fight Choi. I don't know why Choi is not fighting her. Kind of find it kind of weird that she's not really taking her on. I mean, if anything, she should go up against this Korean chick, Bo Mi Ray Shin. I've seen her fight a couple times. She's actually a pretty decent fighter, but not the super duper best fighter out there. But I think she should go after her. Get a good little stay busy fight, and then just get right back into it to fight Katie Taylor or Amanda Serrano winner. But yeah, we'll get with like Amanda Serrano right now. But yeah, with this whole situation with McCallum, she did a great job. I respect the fact that she fought her heart out. Despite her getting knocked down and getting taken down. But yeah, she did what she had to do. It's just that she was put in a really tough waters position, and credit to her for trying to give it her best shot. So I would love to see her back. She's a really tough French woman, and yeah, shout out to her. So shout out to Alicia Baumgartner winning undisputed. Very very good fighter. All right, so final fight, and then I'll be signing off. Amanda Serrano versus Erica Cruz. What did I think about this fight? I thought Amanda dominated her. She needs to work a little bit more. She needs to work better on her defense. I think it's simply due to her age catching up to her. She's not as quick and fast as she used to be, and she's not as sharper with just finding like the right shot. And I think it's just simply due to her just being stiff. I think it's simply due to her not utilizing, like the right motions to use her shots. But um, I don't think this fight really made her look any worse because I think Amanda, she did her thing. She came in and she dominated Erica, and we all know, what Erica is like about. She's just a punches and bunches lady, but this is a woman that has 3 knockouts her entire career. But when people try to say like Amanda Serrano, the way she gets hit, she would get knocked out by a woman that hits way harder. Let me refer to you to a fight that nobody doesn't want to talk about. But when she fought Miss Ela Nunez can punch. She obviously doesn't have a lot of knockout power, but when she fought Ela Nunez, she actually got rocked several times in that fight, and I think she was like in her 20s if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Amanda Serrano, like she fought Ela 3 times in her entire career, and Ela she hurt Amanda multiple times in that fight, and Amanda, she did not budge not one bit to the canvas. So when people say that she doesn't have a chin, like she has a chin. But if you guys want to talk about the notable name fights, Frida Wahlberg, not known to be a big puncher, but she can crack a little bit. But Amanda took her shots well. Even with Katie Taylor, that everyone says like, oh, Katie Taylor, she was hurting Amanda. She did not hurt Amanda one bit. Amanda was taking the shots well, and she was still walking right through Katie. And the thing was is that she didn't duck her head in when she came in to take Katie down. And I think that was the problem because with what she was doing, she wasn't really, solidifying the right pressure that she should have done. And I think if she took pages out of Errol Spence's book to break Katie down to the body rather than just headhunting, to which I still thought that she still won at the fight anyway. But still, like she did, yeah, she did what she had to do. But either way, man, like I think with this whole situation of people trying to say Amanda Serrano doesn't have a chin, look at the opponents that she's fought, where she's fought tough, loaded opposition. She fought, Yamila Reynoso, who can punch. She definitely has a punch in her shot. She can hit Dahiana Santana when she was in her prime. Dahiana, she was at her best too, but a lot of people thought Dahiana was going to hurt Amanda and stop her, but she took her shots well, walked right over her, and yeah, she stopped her. The other. Oh wait, hold on. Let me take a look at that box rec. Hold on, give me 1 second. But yeah, like I don't see why Amanda Serrano now compared to the past would be considered vulnerable to get stopped by a woman that has power, because last time I checked, like you can't have 30 plus knockouts if you don't have like a good chin to go in there and take the opportunity to stop somebody. You have to be confident in your ability to stop somebody. But yeah, Dahiana Santana, yeah, she was in her prime back in that time frame. She obviously doesn't like possess a super duper power, but she could definitely hit. Same thing with the other Mexican lady. I forgot the other girl's name. Her name was Yasmin Rivas. Yeah, Yasmin Rivas. She was good too. And I mean, she doesn't really hit as super duper hard, but like just because like women don't have like high knockout ratios, but they're still cracking you to the point where all it takes is just one shot to come out of their way to hurt you, does not mean that you need to be like a super mega knockout puncher to become, game to try to knock somebody out that has a good chin. But with like Amanda Serrano's case, she has a really really good solid chin. If she never had like a good chin, she would have she would have been stopped earlier in her career, and I would have been said that about Amanda, but she's not like that. So either way, like Amanda Serrano's career is solidified, undisputed, is now achieved. What is next for her? I say go beat up Katie Taylor over in Ireland, and hopefully she can bring back the belts back to Puerto Rico. Um, I think Amanda will definitely beat her, but people are trying to make this weird connotation to say that Amanda's gonna get stopped, and I'm like, why wasn't she stopped? In the first fight with Katie, if that's gonna be the case, but that's obviously not to be the case because Katie does not punch as hard, and the thing with Katie Taylor is that she's had over six knockouts her entire career, compared to Amanda. She has 30, yeah, she has 30 knockouts, and she's been facing tough opposition. Obviously to not say that she doesn't have power. No, like she does have power. It's just that the thing is with like Amanda, she's not looking to stop you. She's looking to try to, throw a good amount of punches to be successful in a fight to win. So I think either way, if things go well, I'm hoping Amanda beats Katie. If not, it's all good. We all know that Amanda Serrano is on Katie's level, and Katie Taylor knows that Amanda Serrano, will be that Deontay Wilder like opponent that can, that can easily shut her lights out, or it's still going to be a fight where people know it's a controversial matchup. So either way, like I don't really care about it. I think Amanda Serrano is just as good in veteran skill level to give Katie Taylor the most destructive matchup that she's ever been. So I don't think Katie Taylor is going to be staying in boxing for too much longer. She's 36 years old, and Amanda, she's 34. So I think what Amanda's probably going to do is let's just say if she loses to Katie, she could fight Alicia Baumgartner. She could probably have like a stay busy fight at 126 and then move back, move up to 130 and fight, Alicia Baumgartner. But if anything, she should fight Katie, and if she beats Katie, then Amanda should fight Alicia in a two-fight deal, one at 135, and then one at 135, and then fight at 130. For another fight, and then if let's just say Alicia beats her, she could fight Alicia in a second fight, and then after that, just give it up. So. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Shout out to Amanda Serrano. Good job. She did what she had to do. So, salute to her, and hopefully we get to see more from her heading into the future. I don't think Amanda Serrano has any more left to prove. She's undisputed, so she got her undisputed rings. So, it's all good, man. So, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoy that. Here's the outro, and shout out to the beautiful queen from Puerto Rico out of Carolina, Miss Amanda, real deal Holyfield Serrano. Peace out, guys. Bye.